We're talking to Detroit head men's golf coach Mark Engel. The Titans open up their fall season this week. Coach Engel, you have a lot of newcomers, some returning lettermen, so talk about the team so far and what you've seen in practice.
I think it's an exciting time for us right now because it is a blend of the old and the new, as you said. We've got a couple of guys who've been around before, starting with Simon Ryers, who's our captain. He's an all-conference player. He's an academic All-American, and he's been a great role model, I think, so far even just for the first couple of weeks with the new guys. This is going to be a unique team. We've got three freshmen going along with the senior and the junior. I can't remember the last time we took three freshmen to a tournament, but in many ways it doesn't matter to us. They're talented. They want to be here. They've proven they can be here by the scores that they've put up in qualifying over the last couple weeks. And we're anxious to throw the young guns out there and let them get their first taste. And it's not going to be an easy tournament, but it's going to be, I think, an exciting one for all of them.
Talk about Simon Ryers. He's the number one guy coming back this year, senior. It's hard to imagine 4 years have passed so far. What have you seen from him when he was a freshman compared to his game right now?
Steady growth. Simon always had confidence in his game, but a few question marks too. And by the end of his freshman year, when he posted some scores to help us win the Horizon League and get to the NCAA, I think it was a huge boost to him. And everything he's done since then has just added to that. He's moved up in the lineup. He hasn't been passed by new players. He's put up some great scores. Same thing this summer. I mean, when you look at the standings in the Canadian Amateur Championship, which is the biggest tournament in his country, he's right there. He was there in the Ontarios. He went through an injury this summer, a sprained ankle, but it didn't hold him back, and he came back. And as a senior, as a captain, as an academic All-American, as a guy who played a great summer, I gave him an exemption for the first tournament, which is kind of unique. You want to try everybody to see how they're doing, and yet I think he was grateful for it. It sent the message that if you work hard and do well, you can get that free pass for the tournament. And at the same time, he went out and won by our qualifier by a lot of shots. For 5 rounds, he played 5 over par. So it's showing he came back ready to play. And I think he's just destined for a great year for us.
You have another senior, Sheldon Keat, and he was someone who came in here, started his career with a championship, and he would like nothing else than to finish his career with one.
Oh, absolutely. He remembers his ring size, and he wants to get some more jewelry. There's no question about it. And he won't be making this trip, but it's not for lack of hard work. He had a good summer. Same thing, he was on a co-op program, did an outstanding job with Chrysler Corporation in their accounting department, and took every opportunity when he wasn't in the office to practice, which is good. He came back ready to play, had some very good rounds for us, but over the course of the 2 weeks just didn't get into the lineup. I think Sheldon's going to work that much harder just to try it and hope that he will before the fall is out.
You have a couple of juniors on your roster here, Brendan Leonard and Kyle Benford. I mean, once again, Brendan Leonard is someone who last year stepped up his game tremendously, really had a good showing as a sophomore. And I know he's someone that, you're looking to take that next step this year as a junior.
Oh, I think so. After a while you get out of your back of the bus status, so to speak, and you become a front runner. And that's one of the things we talked to Lenny about. I mean, he's a junior now. He's a relative old man on our team. He's been in the starting lineup for the better part of 2 years, and he's been helping people learn now as opposed to learning from older players. I think it's great that he's doing that. He had a good summer, too. In fact, as much as I was talking about Simon before, if I remember right, Lenny beat Simon at the Ontario Men's Amateur. So that's a good sign, too, if you can take on the big guy and beat him in a tournament. I think he's destined for a good year for us, and I think he's going to be helpful in showing the younger players the ropes as we go to tournament after tournament.
You have some newcomers this year, and usually your stomping ground, recruiting grounds over in Canada. You got a couple of Michigan players this year, and you went overseas to England to bring in another player. But once again, that just shows the growth of this program that Detroit is able to go out there and get players from all over.
I think so. It's kind of neat. There was a time when we had the Ontario 5, even last year when we had 5 kids from the province starting, but we have moved around, and I think it's a good thing. The more bases you have, the better. We've got Will Whitman coming in from Wisconsin, and he's a Packers fan, which we won't hold against him. He's got friends on the UW Green Bay team, and I think he can't wait to beat them when we go head-to-head with them. Will's had a good high school career, very good amateur career this summer. He played very well. And, it's good to see him in the lineup right away. From Michigan, Aaron Knutson was a state champion 2 years ago in high school, runner-up this year. Another with a very, very good background. And then, the Englishman, as you mentioned, Josh Shaw, will be in the lineup as well this week. It was through somebody who knew somebody who helped somebody who told me about somebody kind of thing. We got going when we had an opening and needed a player late. I learned how to Skype real well, starting to learn some British words just because I think I speak English. I've got to learn to speak British now. But Josh is just a delight to have on the team, and I think he's going to be very, very good as well. So like we talked about at the start, it's going to be a young team, a very, very young team, but it's a talented team, and I think that's the most important thing right now, and then just let these guys get their feet wet as best they can. And for Simon and for Lenny, they're going to feel like den mothers sometime to help out with the younger guys' questions and showing them the ropes on courses and how we do things. But all in all, I think it's going to bode well this weekend in a really good field at Illinois State and also for the whole fall.
Coach, what are you looking to get out here in the fall season? Golf is kind of a weird season that's two parts of the fall and the spring. And then really everything is geared up towards the Horizon League Championship. But right here, these first couple of tournaments in the fall, what's the main thing you want to get out of this team?
I think growth. It's not going to be easy. We could have scheduled a cupcake kind of a tournament schedule and just let them play against easy teams, maybe get confidence, but they're on really good courses. This week at Illinois State, I think there's going to be 4 or 5 top 100 teams, probably 3 from the Big Ten alone. So it's not like we're breaking them in easy, and some coaches like that. I like the idea of the guys pushing themselves and testing themselves early. Last year we started at Michigan. The year before was at Michigan State. So this is typical of what we've done. I think the biggest thing is for the freshmen to learn from Simon, to learn from Lenny, to learn to be comfortable. I'm sure there's going to be some jitters on all of them on the first tee next week, and that's natural. It's not a problem, but I think they can work that out easily. They've played in big tournaments before. So it's a question of hoping that they get more comfortable as college players. They learn what travel's all about more so, because you always miss a day or two of classes to play a 3-day college golf tournament. And when it's all said and done, I think we'll probably be even better as a team by the end of October than we are today.